All right, welcome to the November 12th, 2024, make sure everybody's here, 2024, 6:30 p.m. City Council meeting. We do have a quorum, so I'll call this meeting to order. Would you please join me in a moment of silence? And the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Clerk, would you please read the rules to speak?
Yes, sir. Individuals wishing to speak on agenda items must complete a sign-up card prior to the item being introduced. Those wishing to speak on quasi judicial public hearings must complete a sign-up card and sign the oath. Sign-up and oath cards are available on the table. Individuals wishing to speak on non-agenda items may do so under petitions from the public present. This opportunity is offered twice in the meeting, and individuals may speak at either their first or second petitions, but not both. No sign-up card is required. Citizens should not comment on any issue more than once during the meeting. All comments except petitions and requests must address the pending issues, and citizens will be given 3 minutes to speak on all items. Citizens wishing to speak on the consent agenda must submit a sign-up card identifying the items of interest. Each speaker shall be limited to 3 minutes to speak on the entire consent agenda. All sign-up cards and exhibits being submitted to City Council should be placed in the box on the table.
Thank you, City Clerk. I would look for a motion to approve the meeting, let's start again. Approval of the minutes of the regular City Council meetings of October 15th and October 22nd, both 6:30 p.m. meetings.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Minutes are accepted. City Manager.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council. We are on Boards and Commission item number A, which is the appointment of the Hospital District Board. The terms of regular member Robert Jordan expires on 31 December 2024. He has expressed a willingness and a desire to continue to serve on this board for another 4-year term to expire on December 31st, 2028. There are currently no other applications on file for your consideration, and the second part of this will be a second motion. In addition, Mr. Stan Retz was reappointed by the Brevard County Commissioners on 22 October 2024 for a 4-year term to expire on 31 December 2028. This appointment is subject to confirmation by City Council.
All right, Council, anything on the board? Cards, please.
One card at Stan Johnston.
Stan Johnston. I've been spit on, and my profession has been spit on. When I speak about children and women, babies, sprayed with piss and poop, this has to do with the hospital board. As Mr. Cole knows that I've been there many times requesting that the parish hospital turn off the sewage, the fountains of sewage. So I don't know whether it's everybody here is full of cowards or what they are, but they won't turn it off. Parish wouldn't do it either. Mr. Jordan wouldn't do it. I'm very much against Mr. Jordan in his position because he's lied, cheated, bullied, and so forth. What he's done as far as spraying women, children, and babies with piss and poop. And the policy by the city of Titusville continues, and the hospital will not help me, will not help anybody who complains about it. And yet we have had, this policy continues as demonstrated by this council and this city manager, city attorney, and so forth, that this policy continues, that you will not turn the fountains off. I'm ashamed of you, and I'm ashamed of Mr. Jordan. It should never have happened, and you should go, I don't know what excuse you have. You have no excuse. It's no common sense. You wouldn't do it to your children, but you did it to the public. Shame on you. And it continues today. October the 15th, you still continue to say, this policy is going to continue, so I continue to go to the parish board, and I continue to get spit on. Even though I get spit on, what happens to the women, children, and babies? They get piss and poop in their face. They get sick. You know it because that's exactly what people have complained to you. And what do? city manager, city attorney, and all you people up here, you ignore. You ignore their complaints. Shame on you. I can't imagine a pastor ignoring this, but that's what you've done. I don't see how, what kind of, it appears to me that all we have up here is nothing but puppets and minions of a city manager. How in the world would you continue to allow the spraying of women, children, and babies with piss and poop? I'm ashamed of you. I'm ashamed of what you've done to me too. You spit on my profession. You spit on the Constitution. It's disgusting what you've done. Same thing goes for Robert Jordan, big time. He's been a coward and a bully on this issue. You cannot get any professional engineers. Mr. Cook will not tell you right now, and he has never told me, he said, we're going to stop it. He can stop it, but he won't do it. Because what will you do? Maybe you'll fire him. I'm a professional engineer. I say this, and you don't listen to me. You cannot have any professional engineer who will agree with you, and yet you do it anyways. I'm asking for more time.
No time.
Thank you.
Vice Mayor.
Yes, well, maybe I'll say that, but on the North Brevard County, I want to make note that it was brought to my attention about the fact that Mr. Jordan does not come up until the 31st of December. But if I was still going to be here, I would still vote as I am going to be today. And because I think he has the experience and what we need to be on that board. So, but I want to make note that that was brought to my attention. Okay?
Are you saying that is this the normal time that this should come in front of us?
Well, normally it doesn't come up a month and a half, so to speak, before the individual time is up. So, but again, that's the way I stand on it, but I do want to make it official record that I spoke to the issue.
City manager, are we in sync? Is this when this is supposed to come up?
Yes, sir. The county commission did Mr. Retz. They approved him, which is your confirmation. That was on your agenda. And we were asked to go ahead and add Mr. Jordan just to be done with the board appointments for this cycle.
Member Nelson.
And I just want to say, for those who don't recall, my recollection is Florida Department of Environmental Protection asked us to keep the fountains on because the atmosphere, the oxygen would kill the bacteria. So that was the reason that the fountains were left on, and we discussed it in the past. And despite that, every meeting we hear, you're poisoning everybody.
Every meeting.
So I think we followed the advice that we were given, and that was what we should have done. Now, in the future, if something like that happens, I'm sure Mr. Cook will call DEP, talk to them, and get advice, and we will follow that advice, and hopefully
did in
it'll
the
never
past.
happen.
Thank you for that clarification. So we vote on this particular nomination for both of them at the same time?
Now, you're going to do a confirmation on Mr. Retz, and then you're going to do an appointment for Mr. Jordan.
Okay. Member Nelson, I'll leave that up to you.
Move to confirm Stan Retz to the North Brevard County Hospital District Board for a 4-year term to expire on December 31st, 2028.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Roll call vote.
Member Cole?
Yes.
Member Nelson?
Yes.
Mayor Diesel?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Robinson?
Yeah.
Member Stokel?
Yes.
Member, it passes unanimously. Member Nelson.
Move to approve Robert Jordan to the North Brevard County Hospital District Board for a 4-year term to expire on December 31st, 2028.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Roll call vote.
Member Nelson?
Yes.
Mayor Diesel?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Robinson?
Yes.
Member Stokel?
Yes.
Member Cole?
Yes.
Passes unanimously. City manager.
On to item 6B, which is Board of Adjustment and Appeals. Ms. Angela Myers, Public at Large, has expressed her willingness and desire to serve on this board as an alternate member with an unexpired term to expire on July 31st, 2026. Ms. Wright, Public at Large, has expressed her willingness and desire to serve on this board as an alternate member with an unexpired term to expire on July 31st, 2026. The term of regular member Christian Smith Rodriguez, Public at Large, shall be vacated as of 31 December 2024. This term shall expire on 31 July 2026. Staff will bring back a request to make an appointment for that vacancy at the regular meeting on December 10th, 2024. Staff is recommending that City Council appoint one alternate member to the Board of Adjustment and Appeals for an unexpired term of July 31st, 2026, and there are no other applications on file for your consideration.
Council? Member Nelson?
I do have a question. Affordable Housing Advisory Committee, it looks like there is a vacancy for a citizen at large. Am I correct? See if Wanda knows. Oh, Terry's coming. Terry will know.
We do have a vacancy, and we have 2 applications that we'll be bringing to you, council at the next.
Okay, okay.
That leads to my question. Is one of those applications the same application we're looking at tonight that said they were interested in that board as well? I think that might be what Member Nelson's asking.
That is Terry. Ms. Wright?
Right. What's
Ms.
the name?
Wright? Ms. Wright?
Does
I'm
that
sorry, I don't have the applications
Okay.
in front of me, so the name's
Okay.
not familiar.
Okay.
Okay.
Anybody else? Okay, anything? Coming straight there. Call card on that?
No cards.
Say again?
Yep.
Are here? Applicants who are here, be glad to hear you speak. Come on up.
Hello, my name is Karshonda Wright, and I'm an applicant.
Anything you want to say? We can ask questions or?
I would just like to say that I've lived here over 30 years, and I would like to keep our town the way it is, but I do know that we need marginalized growth. And I'm willing to not just talk about it, but actually do the work to make sure that we are doing what we need to do in order for us to make marginal growth, but also remain this loving small town that we are.
Perfect. Thank you. Member Nelson?
So question. Right now, we're looking at BAA, but it looks like we have an opening on the affordable housing.
I am willing to serve in whatever capacity that I'm able to serve, and it doesn't matter to me what board I'm on. I just want to be able to give back to the public some of the things that I have received from this area. And I want to make sure that when we're talking about things, that someone that is familiar with what goes on in the general public at large has a voice and is able to speak for those who can't speak for themselves.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Member Stokel, same question?
Yeah, one, I wanted to see if the other applicant was here, and then 2, I think what Member Nelson might be getting at, just at looking at Mrs. Wright's application, I feel like she would be great on the Affordable Housing Board. I think that aligns more with her passion and what she's seeking to do. But as I think she stated, she's looking to give back, which I think is great. I just would like to put her in a spot where I think that she would be able to thrive and bring her skill set, which I personally believe, since she's interested, it looks like in 3 different boards, that would be the best fit for her.
But I do remind council, there may be other cards for affordable housing that you'll need to consider when the time
Correct.
comes to appoint.
So that would be the other thing, as she's willing to serve, there's no guarantee, depending on the applicants for that one, that she would be selected there, and then she may not have any appointment, so that's
So-
the other side.
My thought is to go ahead and appoint her tonight, and that would be my suggestion. And if something else comes up that piques her interest, maybe she
I would
can-
agree with that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I would agree with that. Is the other applicant here?
Mayor, we did receive a card as well.
Say again,
We
okay,
did
will.
receive a card.
But I don't see another applicant. Yes? No. Okay. All right, call the card.
Stan Johnston.
Stan Johnston, I'm a professional engineer. I worked for the city for years, and I got a what do you call it, a pension from the city.
Board of Adjustment.
At that time, I was listened to sometimes. But right now, we have a serious problem. It has to do with Board of Adjustments. It has to do with the city of Titusville. We got loopholes, big loopholes. Right now, the S&J projects right now is, we've got a 20-foot wide concrete apron for Mockingbird Lane. About 20 feet from the concrete apron, a fence right in the middle of the road, right in the middle of the road. That was approved by the city of Titusville. Board of Adjustment and Appeals, here's what they say: they can't do it until it's approved by construction, even though it's nonsense, complete nonsense. I want you to understand is that Mockingbird Lane, which you went out to and you went out to, is there's no access to that last house on there. No access at all. Will they do anything about it? No. There's no access to that house from the new plans. No access. You guys are crazy, and you won't do anything about it. There's no utilities, no sewer, no water that goes to that last house. There's no way to get to it. How can you do that? You won't talk about it. This is what you got here, is what you see is called a conspiracy of silence. Here's what I like, you got these attorneys to listen up. Look in Black's Law Dictionary. Look up conspiracy. It applies right here to all you guys, city attorney, city manager. This is a conspiracy because you can do anything you want to. How do you do it? By silence. You don't do nothing. You don't say nothing. Just like what Mrs. Nelson said, she never debated this thing about the sewage spill because there is no professional engineer in the state of Florida that will agree with you, that will agree with what this anonymous person, FDEP, said. There's not one professional engineer, not one. Yet the city of Titusville is a city that is the only city in the world that sprays women, people, babies and everything with poop and shit.
All right, you'll clean that up, I know.
Okay, I'll clean it up. Piss and poop.
Now,
Excuse me.
Who's wrong? Who's doing well?
You're wrong.
Here's wrong. Let me ask you a question on this.
Yes, sir.
I'll let the clock run because we're talking about this. What's the problem you're talking about? The area I got to go see? What's it called again?
Mockingbird Lane.
Isn't that an area that you and the engineer from the people are having a lawsuit right now? Because I've said this about 4 different times.
Well, yes, it is. It certainly is. I'm trying. I've represented, but I don't represent him
The
anymore.
city can't do anything right now anyway. 'Cause
Oh, yes, they can.
You guys are in litigation.
No, you can certainly straighten it out.
You guys are
can
in
correct it.
litigation. There is a lawsuit going on right now between you and the engineer of the project. Thank you.
And no, thank you for keeping the clock running while you were talking.
Oh, we're good.
So you took
Thank
my
you.
freedom of
All right,
speech. Thank you.
Any other card on that? All right. Go ahead, Joanne.
Move to approve Ms. Wright as an alternate member to the Board of Adjustments and Appeals for an unexpired term to expire on July 31st, 2026.
Second.
Motion and a second. Roll call vote.
Mayor Diesel.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Robinson.
Yes.
Member Stokel.
Yes.
Member Cole. Yes. Member Nelson.
It passes unanimously. City manager.
On to petitions and requests.
This is a request? Yes, you may.
I think that we need to watch our language in here because we
kinda
have
talked about
kids in
that.
here.
Well, even if we didn't have kids in here.
I mean, if we didn't have kids in here, it's unfortunate that you have to go to those depths every time you get up to speak. And every time you get up to speak, you say the same thing on every item. The last time stay in your seat. The last time you got up, you were supposed to be talking about boards and adjustments, and you went back to the other thing that you spoke about before. You need to stay on subject if you're going to get up and speak.
All right, petitions and requests. Yeah, you can use that one over there. Sure.
My mom and my family members are here. We're doing this thing called a beach cleanup, and I'm gonna give you these posters, these flyers. We would like to give you some flyers for the second annual summer beach cleanup. It's on December 15th, 2024 at 3 p.m. on Playland Beach. There's prizes for the most trash collected. We're doing this to honor my mom's friend.
Oh, boy.
My mom's friend had a friend named Adam, and he liked to surf in high school, but he can't surf anymore because he got really sick. And now he does a trash pickup.
Oh,
So we just wanted to, we've been doing, my friend passed away last December, and for the memorial, we got together for the celebration of life, got together and did a beach cleanup. And so for the past year, we've been going out and doing a beach cleanup, and they just absolutely love it. Before, the first time, it was kind of like a chore. Oh, we can't be in the water. We have to do a beach cleanup. And now I don't have to say anything. They just grab their bags and they head off. We've seen some crazy, what's the craziest thing we've ever seen at the beach? Or that you guys picked up?
A baby doll leg.
baby doll leg.
A baby doll leg. Anything else that's been crazy?
There was the big tube, like a big
Like an oil
tube.
drum?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
oh.
So they really enjoy it, so we just thought we'd share it and invite you guys to come out, or whoever to come out to do we're going to start an annual thing, so December 15th with our friends and Adam's family. And that's it.
Wow. First of all, congratulations on the effort. And secondly, for you guys to get up there and speak.
And a wine bottle.
Oh, now we know about it. Now we know. Well, we thank you guys for your efforts. And again, thank you for coming here to speak and put that out there. But
I think the kids need to get up and everybody needs to give us their names.
well, I think-
Yeah, introduce
I don't know if
themselves.
they did. I could hardly hear.
My name's Emmy.
They're getting braver as the time goes on.
My name is Lila Grizzle. My name is Theodore Grizzle.
That's awesome. That's awesome stuff. Vice Mayor.
No, I was just taken with family. I love family, and I honor you and thank you for doing what you do.
And this is something, obviously you know this, but this is something these kids will remember and carry with them generationally. That's just that's a bright spot in the night, that's for sure.
They're excited
So,
to come.
thank you. Thank you guys very much. Yeah. Appreciate you guys.
I think it's a shame that I have to follow them.
Yeah, I would too.
I love the city, okay?
Name and address for the record, please.
Oh, Gary Miller, 5536 River Oaks Drive.
Perfect.
I live in Oak Trails at Meadow Ridge. Unfortunately, Joe lives around the corner, but I accept that. I'm here because we have some things that are broke, like every city does, okay? We have grown too quick, too fast. I have worked with Kevin Cook. He's a good guy, okay? But we have problems with the road. I got my taxes the other day, and I looked at them. Now, we have just spent, I don't know how much money paving from 50 South on Barna all the way down to 405, okay? And part of that, that's 4 lanes, 2 lanes each side with a medium. And the road, before they paved it, was like a roller coaster,
Yeah.
okay? It was like a roller coaster. Now, we just paved it, okay? Now we have 53-foot tractor trailers going down that road. And you know what happens? I'm not I'm not an engineer, but I'll tell you, when that asphalt gets hot again, we're going to be repaving that road. So what I wanted was a no truck sign. And then, of course, Kevin corrected me, he said, what about the trash trucks? Okay, no trucks over 5 tons, okay? Because we're going to redo that road in another year. Your tax dollars and my tax dollars, okay? That's a waste. That is a waste, okay? It can be prevented. These tractor trailers are taking a shortcut down to 95 instead of going up to the Highway 50 and 405 to go on to 95. They're coming through our neighborhoods, tractor trailers, 53-footers, with kids riding bicycles and all. That's unacceptable, okay? Unacceptable. That's one. You have an intersection at Barna and 50. One side has a turn signal, the other side doesn't. I have seen so many close calls because the people are parked there in the turn lane coming from the south on Barna. When they see the people across from them start to turn, they start out. They don't have a turn signal.
No.
What in the, whoever designed that? Well, I'm not going to say, but he was an idiot. He's an idiot, okay? The other thing, someone needs to take a look. There's a section right next to CVS. If you tried to turn right, coming south, there's a dip this far off the asphalt. No one planned to fill that in because there's 3 lanes there, and they try to go around it, and it's a drop-off. It's a simple fix. It's a simple fix. I know, I can work with Kevin, okay? I think he's a very good man. Okay. We need to fix that. And the thing is, someone needs to look at your traffic lights because I've never seen 30 and 40 cars at Knox McCrae and Barna in my life. There's something wrong with our light system. Like I said, I love this city, and these things can be fixed.
Let me just say before you go, because technically this is my last real meeting. I just had that conversation, and he's smiling over there, because I just had that conversation with Kevin not long ago about how our lights are so out of sync. And I come out of Key Largo onto Highway 50 and can sit there 3 minutes yesterday. And just another example, we sat there 3 or 4 minutes, and my wife finally said, I'm backing up and turning right. And when you got to do that, it's wrong. And what he told me is apparently it's controlled by a traffic group out of Rockledge. Whatever it is, I agree. And I certainly hope that we can have some input, because I'm not sure we've had any input because we're still sitting at that light forever.
People get aggravated and they make stupid decisions.
Yeah, that's exactly what
Okay.
happens. Exactly what
And that
happens.
can be fixed.
I agree with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good insight.
Appreciate you listening
Good
to me.
insight.
Stan Johnson again, registered engineer. Thank you, Mr. Cole, for your input, and I appreciate it very much.
Thank you, guys.
And we have children here, and that's nice, but maybe I subjected in some bad language, but the thing is that you guys are subjecting them to the sewage spray, the piss and the poop.
No, we're not.
Oh, you did.
No, we're not.
You did so. Oh, you never did it.
Go on and
Oh,
on.
you
I'm
never
just going to say
did.
at some point that the truth has to matter. I'll just leave it at that.
Okay, let me tell you something. I got
my all day.
my car was covered with sewage. I didn't plan it there to be covered with sewage. Covered with sewage. Fact is, guess who took the picture of it covered with sewage? Joe De Niro. Well, Human Resources, because when I took my car to show it to Water Resources, what they do? They said, stay out of here, and they called the police on me. So I still have a trespass warrant at the Water Resources Department. So for Mr. Cole, he was also like Robert Jordan at the Parish Hospital. And as far as what did he do when I came up and asked for it to be turned off? They wouldn't do anything. And so I don't know sure how you're doing, but on December 2020 is that we had sewage spray, big sewage spray, and it was being blown. It was being blown across the street, according to people in Harbor Point. They smelled it, and they had it on their houses. People had it on their food. It blew. So it happened. So Mr. Diesel denies it. Mr. Diesel, the coach, big coach, he must know what he's talking about. Well, I would like you to go out to the river when the wind blows, and you'll see it blows terribly. It blows almost like horizontal like that. So what happened is, I got sprayed with sewage, other people got sewage sprayed, and they came to Mayor Diesel, and at council meetings, they said, hey, we've got sore throats, burning eyes, burning ears, vomiting, diarrhea. And what do you say? What does Coach Diesel say and everybody else say? Oh, it never happened. It never happened. So Mr. Diesel, because he's mayor, he can say this, even though there's no truth to it whatsoever.
Got him going now.
Yeah, no truth to it at all, because I saw it. And so did Mr. Klein. So did Laura Lee. Laura Lee's the one who brought me into on it. She's the one who started complaining to the city manager, asking him to do it, and he wouldn't turn it off. But because he won't get a professional engineer to get their opinion on it. None of you will. You still won't do it because you have a policy to spray, continue to spray. May I have extra time?
No, thank you.
Okay. You're not welcome.
Hi.
I'm Elizabeth Baker. I'm a Titusville resident.
You still are.
I still am. It's your last meeting,
It is.
and I'm really sad about that because you've been one of the few people that I've seen throughout the entire county, actually, in positions of leadership that has spoken with people kindly and respectfully, and I haven't always agreed with you. But I have sincerely appreciated your candor, your openness, your willingness to meet with people. And when you stood up with the people to defend our constitutional right to clean water, that's the legacy that I'm going to remember you on. That's what I will always remember you for. So thank you, and I hope that the council members that will continue to be here will please uphold our constitutional right to clean water.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Nice to hear that after a long day. I'll say. I guess I just need to stop fighting with him. Yeah. Because what I do go after him. Hello?
Hello, I'm Vicki Conklin, 2920 Royal Oak Drive. My question tonight is regarding the comprehensive plan and the future land use element. So I would like clarification if policy 1.14.6 is still part of our law, and that is that high-density residential uses must exit or can access a collector or arterial street unless the property is located along the following local road, which already has multifamily development pattern, such as Rock Pit Road, I guess is the exception. Is that still part of our comp plan, please?
If we're going to look over there, I would say,
I know, I'm looking over there with the experts. Is that still part of our comprehensive plan?
give me a confirmation on that. I'm saying it
Or
is.
did
but-
I miss that
And there's
that
an
changed?
interpretation, I'm sure, that goes with that.
what the number is?
It's 1.14.6. Did that change and I missed it?
If you give me a moment, I'll bring up our comprehensive plan.
Yeah, I don't think it's changed. It's just obviously interpretation of every
This is
plan.
part of the comp plan that we've been talking
We've
about
talked
for
about, yeah.
months, and
Yeah,
that is,
like when you
we've dealt
said
with that
it
with
was a little bit of a
Wendover.
surprise because I know of no
Right, and
change.
other areas, but it's that if you have multifamily, it must access via arterial or collector road instead of a local road.
As I understand it.
Mm-hmm.
But when I sit here and don't have that in front of me,
No, I
want somebody
understand,
over there to
I
say
understand,
something.
I understand.
So
Yes, sir.
the question is the future land use element policy 1.14.6, what does it say? Or is it still in the comprehensive plan?
Is it still part of our comprehensive plan?
What you stated there is still a policy in our comprehensive plan. It says specifically, high-density residential uses, in quotations, maximum 15 dwelling units per acre, or mobile homes shall consider existing and proposed land uses to ensure compatibility. Further, such densities shall be located adjacent to at least a collector or arterial street unless the property is located along the following road, local road, which already has a multifamily development pattern and is capable of supporting higher density. And that states Rock Pit Road from Tropic Street to South Street. So that's the policy inside the comprehensive plan.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I didn't think that I had missed that had been changed.
Well, I didn't either, but I'd like to, if she's asking it, there's a trick
Thank you.
question in there
And it's
somewhere.
really a critical thing because Apollo Gardens has been discussed for months and months and months. We know that's at staff level. And yesterday, they received a site development permit issued yesterday. And so I'd like to know, why is that? Because the access is on Demerit, which is a local road, doesn't meet the requirement. It's what we've been saying for months and months. So how can that be legal to do that?
Thank you for bringing that forward.
Any answer?
Well, I think that basically that's going to go into the next council. So, I mean, it is a comprehensive plan, and I can't tell you, I don't know what they've got. I don't know about their site plan. So for me to answer that would be, facts are important, and I don't have those facts.
Did Mr. Broom answer that? Is that a violation?
So,
So everybody
So-
wants to pass it off?
no, it's not to pass it on. If I don't have the site plan, I can't tell you what's happened between today and what you just told me. I can tell you the comprehensive plan is a comprehensive plan. What's happened with the site plan and what happened there, I don't know. So, I mean, I don't have that. So
clearly
that would be
that's
something
it.
I'd want to follow up if I were you with
I will.
that office,
I will.
because that's a good question. Anyone else? City Manager.
We are on consent. We have items A through Q. City Council, do you want to have any questions to staff on consent items A through Q?
I see none.
City Council, would you like to pull any items of consent for further discussion?
I see none.
Clerk, are there any cards for consent A through Q?
2 cards.
Mayor, I'd like to read the titles for the record.
Thank you.
Consent agenda item 8A, accept the award of Firehouse Subs Public Safety Foundation Grant Award. Consent agenda item 8B, approve the final contract for asset operations and management software solution. Consent agenda item 8C, accept the change order to the Florida Department of Environmental Protection Grant Award for Resiliency Florida Planning Grant. Consent agenda item 8D, authorize the purchase of fire department self-contained breathing apparatus cylinders. Consent agenda item 8E, approve the First Amendment to the Master Software License Agreement contract with Cameo Technologies. Consent agenda item 8F, approve the amendment of the Master Software License Agreement with NeoGov Power DMS. Consent agenda item 8G, approve the Master Software License Agreement for Tyler Technology Software Master Service Agreement Consolidation and Upgrade. Consent agenda item 8H, approve the Amendment 2 for Agreement 22 FRP 99 between the Florida Department of Environmental Protection and the City of Titusville. Consent agenda item 8I, approve the contract for roadway paving and patching services. Consent agenda item 8J, approve the collective bargaining agreement between the IAFF Local 2445 and the City of Titusville. Consent agenda item 8K, approve the water and sewer service agreement for parcel 213520000750. Consent agenda item 8L, approve resolution number 11, 2024 with resolution 2024 to include the construction of a light vehicle maintenance and administrative fleet services building and the associated site preparation. Consent agenda item 8, hang on here. M, approve the final ranking for marketing and public relations services for the City of Titusville Economic Development Department. Consent agenda item 8N, approve contracting services for online payment processing service contract. Consent agenda item 8O, approve the FEMA grant consulting service disaster recovery consultant services. Consent agenda item 8P, approve Amendment 3 to the State Revolving Fund loan for the Indian River Force Main project. Consent agenda item 8Q, approve the memorandum of understanding with the North Brevard Economic Development Zone to implement real estate software ReSimplify.
Council, anything? City Clerk, what what items do each person, I'd like to know what they're going to speak on.
Tony Schifelo is item 8M.
M? All right, Tony Schifelo. Oh. Hi, Tony.
Good evening. Schifelo, the Historic Norwood House. Marketing and the PR job. For years, the tree team has been advocating hire an arborist so that our dwindling tree canopy might be offered some protection in the planning stages. Nothing. Somebody complains they can't find the answers to some of their concerns, and some council member sits up here and says, oh, let's hire a PRO. And next meeting or so, you jump on it, and here you are awarding $89,250 to a PR firm from Celebration, a made-up city. Not even in Brevard County. Are there no PROs in Melbourne, for instance? Or even maybe little Mims that could tote the wonders and joys and the information our citizens need, Ms. Stokel, about Titusville, that we hire a firm from Celebration, a made-up city?
Next one.
Stan Johnston, he wants to speak on C, D, G, H, L, O, and P.
He'll be all over the place. Yeah, good luck. Hit them all. Go.
This is Stan Johnston. This has nothing to do with sewage, okay? So I have some comments about these. I'll never have enough time to do it, but I'm disappointed that, for example, on item L, this is a consent order, and it's for $1,315,000. I'm not sure that it's appropriate to be in the consent, especially when it's a bonding. And bonding is the experience that City of Titusville has had some horrors, and other government agencies have horrors with bonding because it's in some cases, it's even cheaper just to get a loan from the bank. So I know that when Brevard County wanted to do some bonding, is that they had all kind of bonding agents bringing the commissioners and so forth, long places to, lavish restaurants and so forth. So there's a lot of profit in these bonding agencies as compared to some other uses. So I have questions about L. I think that the $425,000 for the roadway is very good, very good. I know that Mr. Cook can manage that very well. He's done that for many years. It's been very well managed, so that's fantastic. G is Title Technologies, $500,000. I just wanted, and this is required documents upon review and approval. It just seems like this has got to be just red tape or something. I mean, sometimes people sell software for that we don't use it. That's almost ridiculous because, like, for example, this thing that the planning department's going to get, it's not shown on here, but I just don't see how it's going to gain anything. On C, it says comprehensive vulnerability assessment, adaptation plan, and so forth, $135,000. Well, the thing is the city is big time ignoring problems we have. For example, in the stormwater management plan, it's not being done right. Freshwater management study is voided by the Guyman-Hirschberg principle. It's not valid in the city of Titusville. And so we have all area of critical concerns that are completely wrong. We have flood zones that are wrong, and we have no drainage maintenance to the St. Johns River. So we've got a lot of problems that that we're completely ignoring. I'd like more time, please.
I see none, but I do want to say,
Pardon?
I do want to say, good job. You're on topic. You hit everyone that you were talking about. I appreciated that. Thank
Okay,
you.
I supported you for
Thank
county
you.
commissioner because you were the
Thank you.
best candidate.
Thank you. Thank you.
You still are.
I appreciate it. Thank you for
You're a
staying
good
on
man.
topic. Okay, Member Nelson.
Move to approve consent agenda items A through Q.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Roll call vote.
Vice Mayor Robinson,
Yes.
Member Stokel,
Yes.
Member Cole,
Yes.
Member Nelson,
Yes.
Mayor Diesel.
Yes. Consent agenda passes unanimously. Some good points made, I thought, but passes unanimously. City Manager.
We are on 9A, which is ordinance number 41, 2024, Trading Services Cleanup Ordinance. The city attorney will read the ordinance for the record.
And this is the second reading and final public hearing on this ordinance. Ordinance number 41, 2024, an ordinance of the City of Titusville, Florida, amending the city's land development regulations by amending Section 28203, Building Trade Services, C, Standards for Permitted Uses with Limitations, to incorporate amendments approved by Ordinance 30, 2022, and Ordinance 29, 2023, providing for severability, repeal of conflicting ordinances, effective date, and incorporation into the code.
On October 2nd, 2024, the Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval 6-0. The city adopted Building and Trade Services Ordinance Number 30, 2022 to expand zoning districts where building trade services could be established. While drafting a separate PID White Chaffee Ordinance Number 29, 2023 to address development along White Drive and Chaffee Drive, staff used an incorrect version of the code which had not yet reflected in the adopted Building and Trade Services Ordinance. This draft ordinance proposes to correct which were inadvertently added or removed in error to provide the internal consistency and to enhance the usability of the code. Mr. Parrish is here to answer any questions that you have. This is the public hearing for ordinance number 41, 2024.
Mr. Parrish.
So this is the second of two public hearings. I presented a little bit of this at your last public hearing, and the strike-through underlined version is on page 567 of your packet, and that's really the meat of this particular ordinance. And you'll see the changes that we're proposing. With that, I'll try to answer any questions you have.
Anything from council? This looks like a cleanup. Is what it amounts to. There's not a lot of technicalities here. Call card.
One card is Dan Johnston.
Building Trade Services cleanup.
Okay, this is, should be no surprise that I'm speaking on this because I'm working with planning and land development about problems that they have that they need to clean up. This is one of many, and there are much larger ones than this that need to be cleaned up. So I won't go into it much, but the thing is that we have horrible and erroneous regulations in the city of Titusville that are illegal and what's going on. Like, for example, the plan for putting dams in the city of Titusville, they're all illegal. They're all illegal. And it's been that way since 1985. 1985, and they're all illegal. Okay, and and Mr. Diesel knows about the dam that flooded Baker subdivision. It's illegal. It's taking a property without due process. Thank you.
Thank you, Stan. No other cards? Member Nelson.
Move to approve ordinance number 41, 2024, Building Trade Services cleanup.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Roll call vote.
Member Stokel,
Yes.
Member Cole, Member Nelson, Mayor Diesel,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Robinson.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. We go to B, City Manager.
Item 8B, or correction, 9B is ordinance number 42, 2024. City Attorney will read the outdoor storage cleanup ordinance.
And this is the second reading and final public hearing of this ordinance. Ordinance number 42, 2024, an ordinance of the City of Titusville, Florida, amending the city's land development regulations by amending Section 2854, Use Table, and Section 28151, Outdoor Storage, A, Districts Where Permitted, to correct amendments approved by ordinance 25, 2020, and providing for severability, repeal of conflicting ordinances, effective date, and incorporation into the code.
On October 2nd, 2024, the Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval 6-0. In 2020, the city adopted a cleanup ordinance to correct discrepancies in the zoning code use tables for primary uses. Staff has discovered inconsistency with the larger use tables contained in Section 2854 and the individual use standards in Sections 28151 outdoor storage. In an effort to correct the errors in ordinance number 25, 2022, staff has reviewed the use table and use standards table for internal inconsistencies and correctness based on staff analysis, previous code versions, and existing code language. This draft ordinance proposes corrections which were inadvertently added or removed in error to provide internal consistencies and to enhance the usability of the code. Mr. Parrish is here. This is your public hearing on ordinance number 42, 2024.
Vice Mayor?
No.
Okay. Any questions, council? Anything you want to add, or pretty much similar to the last one?
It's the same as last time. Just going to point out page 582 and 588, you'll see the strike-through underline
So
changes.
It's a simple cleanup.
That's correct.
All right.
Just so you know that the outdoor storage use in some zoning districts is considered to be, can be allowed as a primary use, and in some zoning districts, it only can be an accessory to an other use. And this ordinance is to clarify that.
Okay, thank you. Cards?
One card, Stan Johnston.
Stan Johnston, veteran and former professional engineer and also registered land surveyor for Brevard County and City of Titusville. I'm speaking about this, and similar to what I just spoke about, is that we have a horribly messed up community development, land planning and community development. And I've repeatedly shown, and you can't get a professional engineer to disagree with me, our freshwater management study is completely wrong. Our area of critical concern is completely wrong. We have numerous errors in our flood zone elevations, completely wrong. City of Titusville has lost their records or destroyed their records. They've destroyed their records on dams and so forth. When they approved the dam at the senior center, there's no calculations for it at all. No calculations. Listen, what I say? No calculations. We have got big problems that you are ignoring and diffusing. So this is just one of many. This is the tip of the iceberg that you guys are not listening to, and you're spitting on me. You're spitting on my profession. You're not listening to me, and I have no respect for you on these matters. Thank you.
Any other cards? Member Nelson.
Move to approve ordinance number 42, 2024, outdoor storage cleanup.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Roll call vote.
Member Cole?
Yes.
Member Nelson? Yes. Mayor Diesel?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Robinson?
Yes.
Member Stup.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. City Manager.
On to item 10A, which is ordinance number 45, 2024, consolidated fees for development applications and legal advertising ordinance. The city attorney will read for the record.
City Attorney, hold on that. Before you do that, I'm going to at least express my opinion or concern. This is the last meeting for this council, and this is one, and I've kind of already expressed it. I don't feel like we should be doing first readings because the next council will get the second reading. I feel like if the, matter of fact, on two of the first readings, I've got a bunch of information, which is very valuable information, and the topic is affidavits for Willow Creek CDC and Willow Creek CDC boundary amendment. That's real important information. It's a first reading. I get that. There'll be no action taken, but this is what should be handed to the next council in first reading as they prepare to make a vote at the second reading. I don't know why we would do this. So I'm simply going to say, and it's my opinion, and I'd be glad to see it come to a vote, win, lose, or draw. I feel like, again, Stan's pointed out very accurately that I'm a coach. I don't understand why you would have one staff coach the first half and another staff come in and coach the second half. So I'm not trying to be over reticent here, but I feel like that there is information handed us right now that it's not going to do me any good. I won't be part of this procedure. So I just feel like a first reading should go with a second reading on the same council. It's a very odd meeting time. I realize that. This is a one and only meeting where you could have, something like this, the first reading for one council, the second reading for a different council, and it's the same topic. So that's my feeling, and I would like to hear Member Stokel.
Yep, I had expressed the same in my briefing as well. I was like, oh, this is interesting, first reading, and, I'll be going in, but I said there's going to be 2 new people on council that they're coming in for the second reading. And I don't know if staff wants to chime in on this or not. I think that there's a couple things that we can do. We could go ahead and have the first reading, and at the second reading, that council at that time, I feel like if there's the new council members, either of the two, that say, I need more time or information, we could table it at that point. I don't know if they're time sensitive. My biggest thing is for the new council members to make sure they have adequate time. Now, I do know we get briefings prior, so I feel like staff would be able to give them this packet and information prior, but to your point, yeah, I thought it was a little weird because it does 2 members up here no good to really hear a first reading because it's not applicable to them at the next meeting. So I could go either way. My biggest thing would be that I want the 2 new council members to feel comfortable that they have had access to the information and everything to be able to vote. And if not, we either change it now or we could table it at the next meeting. So we would be hearing it twice then at that point for the new council. So I could go either way.
I had stated and would state further that I don't feel there should, on a meeting that's going to be the last council, this council will never be together again. There should be no first readings for a council in that situation. Out of deference for the fact that I won't be here for the second reading, and out of deference for the respect to the 2 that will be coming on. This, obviously, I get that. This is a wonderful document and it's real important. And normally I go through it with a fine tooth comb and read about it. But clearly this is not something that is my decision anymore. So that's just me. And I just feel like it shouldn't even be there. So we'll leave it at that. And let me hear some more people. Member Cole.
Well, I agree with Mr. Mayor, because the fact that the new council will be sworn in on the same day that they have the meeting. They will not have an opportunity to meet with staff prior to that. So I think that makes what you're saying, Mr. Mayor, even more important. I would hate coming in 2 weeks from tonight and having a second reading when I'm not even, I'm not up to speed on what's going on, so.
Well, when I got the handout and I'm seeing what this is, I'm thinking even more so, I see at least a member out there that would take this home and do what I would do with it right now.
Read it.
And read it. Well, technically, they can't do that just yet. So I'm just feeling, again, first readings should never be on the last meeting, council schedule. But that being said, I want to defer to the new council and give the respect to those folks for stepping up and getting ready to go. I'm not trying to create a problem here. It just makes no sense to me. So, Member Nelson?
Well, I sort of agree with Sarah in that if they don't feel comfortable voting on it at the next meeting, then, yeah, at that point, I think
We shouldn't put them in that position. We shouldn't put them in a position of are you comfortable or you're not, even though we already had the first reading and you guys are only getting half of what we normally get. How comfortable are you? That's just me.
I tend to agree with you. I think my issue is we probably all found out about this, but when it was too late, because I had my briefing yesterday. So I didn't realize this was an issue. So my only concern with that is now since we are in this situation, one, I want to make sure we're not in this situation again moving forward is I don't know what's been communicated to the applicants that are part of this and if they are time sensitive. That would be my only issue. And I want to say that they will be able to meet prior, even though they're not sworn in yet. I don't know, Scott, will they have briefings before being sworn in?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, and I will tell you, 10A is not time sensitive.
Okay.
The CDD one had advertising requirements that were how many months long? It was
Okay.
6 months or so for advertising, so.
So 10A, then I feel like we could definitely, if it's not time sensitive, definitely move. And then You said,
What about B and C?
yeah, B and C. You said 6 months
So
of
the reason that's
advertising.
on there is because the advertising requirement for CDD is different than our normal advertising requirements. Richard can help with
Okay.
that.
The attorney for that item is here if you'd like to hear from him.
I would like to hear maybe from the applicant to see if it's time sensitive, or can we move it to the next meeting and have the first reading in and then?
I just find it odd that a new council would start off with any second readings.
I
mean,
would
it's
agree
like-
with you.
It's like starting, again, I can't help but use an analogy that I use. You're going into the game in the second half. The first half is the first reading. And we've gotten, I guess I've been doing this for 8 years and it's a routine. First reading, get the information, get familiar with it. Maybe somebody speaks, maybe they don't, but we don't do anything. Second reading, he even said earlier on one of the things, he says, I went over this at the first reading.
Yep.
So you've already got that information. So I think if they're that unimportant, why do we even do them? I mean, I hate to say it, but we're making it like, no big deal, don't need a first reading. So I'll just leave it at that. And Member Stokel, you're laid up, but I guess you're
Yep.
done.
I'd like to hear from the applicant, because that would be ideal, is to go ahead and move it.
That item's not up yet. I would deal with A first, and then you can deal with B and then C.
Oh, well then do we have any cards on A? Then if not, I would make that motion to.
We do have one card.
Well, I don't want to get into the first readings or
That's what
asking
I was going to
our
table.
applicants or anything. I just want to say, are we going to table it or not? If we're not, bring them
Well,
up,
then
let's
if-
go.
If we table it, we don't have to take a card, right?
We're right. What I'm saying is we need to deal with each item separately. So first, you're going to deal with item A.
I would move to table item 10A to our next city council meeting.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to table.
If we're going to, I would announce the date and time of. the
November
next meeting.
26th, I think it is, at 6:30.
I have a motion and a second to table
10A.
first reading 10A to the times and date stated. Roll call vote.
Member Nelson?
Yes.
Mayor Diesel?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Robinson?
Yes.
Member Stokel?
Yes.
Member Cole?
Table.
On to 10B. This is ordinance number 46, 2024, Willow Creek CDD.
I'm looking for the same thing, but I can't make a motion. Member Nelson?
Oh.
We-
Well, I thought we were going to.
She said we got to do all of them separate. So
I think for this one, we wanted to hear from the applicant that's here before we did that one.
If I may,
please.
I didn't get a chance to speak on the other one, and when I went through this, I agree that this doesn't need to come before us. And it should be, because all of the information is going to be discussed.
I agree.
And the new C3 and new mayor needs to hear this so they can be informed. And it'll be a good experience for them as well.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And again, this shouldn't be in my hand, it should be in the next council's hand. So I'm not sure, Member Nelson, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think Member Stokel wanted to hear from the applicant.
Yeah, I'm inclined to
Right.
table it. I just want to make sure it doesn't do
I get that, but I'm
any.
not sure if what I'm looking to do here is more a procedural thing. I don't feel like there should be any first readings, whoever it is, whatever the situation is, whoever the applicant is.
Right.
And not go pick and choose applicant by applicant depending on time sensitivity. I'm thinking more about the future council, about they're not going to have a first reading if we talk to the applicant and say, oh, yeah, okay, I get it. Well, let's go ahead and have it. I think a first reading should, I said this before, and I've said it to staff. I don't think first reading should be on the last meeting of a council. I think
I agree.
and second readings shouldn't be on the first meeting of a council. They should get to start the game at the beginning and go to the end. In this case, if we don't do that, I think procedurally, it's not the way it should go. And I don't want to say incorrect because clearly I guess it can go that way. I just think it's flawed.
I agree. And I guess for me, we are already in this situation. And I wish we weren't, but since the applicant is here, it would help me just feeling more comfortable about tabling it to make sure I have all the information and facts. So I just would like to hear from them just to say, hey, we're planning to table it. Is there anything that we need to be aware of as a council before we do it? That would be my request.
I will say we can hear the applicant, and I'm going to say that is not part of my decision-making thought,
Okay,
because I don't care what it is, there shouldn't be
Right.
a first reading when I'm not going to be here for the second.
fair.
And I'll just say it one more way that I understand it best. They're going to let me coach the first half, and then I'm out of the game.
Yep.
So call it the applicant. I'm not normally this reticent, but this one kind of pissed me off.
Thank you, Mayor, council members. Roy Van Wyk with Klinsky Van Wyk on behalf of the petitioner. I'm here for 10B and 10C. What we're doing is trying to just bifurcate the lands that are within the current district. I've had the privilege of representing that district since 2005, since it was created. I've been their council. So what we're asking, I understand your predicament. I have to advocate on behalf of my clients and ask that we have first reading, because on the second reading on November 26th, we do have a publication that's already run for a public hearing. We're going to have a full public hearing on the 26th. As council members stated, we could also continue that public hearing to a date further down the road if those other council members did have an issue or a question that they needed further clarification on. We do have staff recommendation for approval on first reading. I would throw that out there. You do have professional staff have gone through the petition. The petition is relatively straightforward. It has exhibits that every petition has, and to the extent that I could ask you to approve it on first reading, I'll do that. And if not, we'll do what this council recommends, and whatever your determination is, we'll work with the council on that.
I just want to let you know, we don't vote on first readings. So you talked about approval on first readings, we do not vote on first readings.
Well, if we could move it forward, I would appreciate that. So we really do need to keep this moving forward. Government does still need to grind forward every day. I understand that there's a change. I wasn't aware of it until I got here. If there's any possibility that we can do this is straightforward. Community Development District petition. It has all the exhibits that were required of it. Staff has recommended approval. We can do a full public hearing on the 26th if you indulge me on that. Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate it. I'm speaking for 10A and 10B just to take up.
And
10B and
for
C.
your side of things, I hate that you're caught in the middle of this, because I made it as clear as I can to anybody who wants to listen. I don't think first reading should be here. I'm not going to be here for the second reading. And all this stuff that I just got, which is really good, doesn't mean anything to me. I'm out of here. And it means something to other people.
I understand, Mayor.
All right. And again, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Just your, advocating on behalf of my clients. So, thank you.
All right, Member Cole.
I move that we table B and C to November 26th at 6:30.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Roll call vote.
Mayor Diesel?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Robinson?
Yes.
Member Stokel?
Yes.
Member Cole?
Yes.
Member Nelson?
Yes.
Tables. I'm sorry about that. I think I made that as clear as I could previously. So. No. It really and truly, it could have been anybody else sitting out there. I think that the procedure is a procedure, and it's just my feeling that the next council deserves the respect to have the first reading as well as the second reading, and have this handed to them like I did. So that's more what this is about. It's got nothing to do with you. I'm sure it'll be, I say it's a great project. I'll probably get in trouble for that, so I'll just leave it alone. So, all right, City Manager.
On to item 12A, which is disposition of surplus properties for affordable housing, the donation of 701 Lucky Street, 915 Kenilworth Court, 504 Roderick A. Harris Senior Avenue, and 706 Roderick A. Harris Senior Avenue. On 11 April 2023, City Council approved advisability to develop an affordable housing property disposition program. As a result, the Neighborhood Services Department compiled a list of city-owned properties suitable for affordable housing with the adoption of Resolution 26-2023. This list is posted on the city's website, department webpage, and is included in the annual housing incentive plan. On 13 September 2024, the Neighborhood Services Director received a proposal from the Community of Hope Incorporated seeking the donation of 4 city-owned surplus properties for the sole purpose of creating affordable housing units. The proposal outlines options for home ownerships and rental opportunities based on need. Staff has reviewed the proposal and supports the organizational's request and desire to expand affordable home ownership and rental opportunities in Titusville. Staff recommends the approval of the disposition of the requested surplus properties to Community of Hope Incorporated as outlined in their proposal. Terry's here to answer questions that you may have, and I think Community of Hope representatives are here as well.
Perfect. What you got for us?
I have nothing to add right now. So
Okay.
if you have any questions, and
Go ahead. My guy who would know all the answers right here is going to ask a question.
I know the property. Are all these single-family unit properties?
yes, they will be all single-family homes.
All be single-family homes, and they meet the criteria for width and depth?
Each property, to give you an example of the list, most of the properties are standard size. We do have one, well, actually, two of them are smaller than normal, but they're in the, you can correct me if I'm wrong, in the target area where we do have some flexibilities in the codes that we've done for that particular area.
Well, when this is, Brad can help, this, in those two properties that are smaller, will they, I know that we were trying to get some information or trying to change some things where we can make some exceptions for the size of the lot and whether a sidewalk goes in, will these properties fall into that to help the developer? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Yes, there are, so you asked, there's two parts to your question. There's one is the zoning. A few months ago, the council approved direction for us to come up with some changes to code to allow some flexibility design within existing zoning districts. We have a draft. It doesn't specifically address these particular zoning districts, these single-family ones, but if that's something the city council wants us to do, we can expand and propose something. Otherwise, if right now, the way the code is written, the flexibility is the variances if they're significant.
Correct.
The code does allow some administrative approvals for encroachments into setbacks if necessary, up to a certain point, and then beyond that, then it's a variance.
Okay.
The other question about sidewalks, there's an existing regulation and criteria that the city has to address requests for waivers to sidewalks.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All righty.
And
That's.
okay. You have cards, I'm sure, but I'd like to hear from the, I don't know if we call them applicants or how we do this. That's what I want to hear from.
Hello, thank you for letting me come up and speak. I'm Drew Warren. I'm CEO of Community of Hope, and I don't happen to be a resident of Titusville, but Kayla Manning is also here on behalf of Community of Hope, and she is. We're excited about this. This is an opportunity to do something where we're not just doing a rental, that we're actually expanding into some home ownership and getting people who would normally be priced out of the home ownership market out of rental, freeing those units for other people who are more in need of rental units. And I think that's kind of that flow we need to have, is out of rental and into home ownership, and allowing people to have a pathway to starting to build some equity and that kind of thing. This is a really exciting opportunity, and we really appreciate you all letting us come up and present this. So I'm here to answer any questions you've got.
I was going to say, remember Nelson, I just knew you were. Remember Nelson?
How did you know that?
I mean,
How did you know that?
I was looking for you, wasn't I?
Drew, I think it would help for members of the community that aren't really familiar with this, how it's going to work.
So in reality, it's not any different than land given to Habitat for Humanity. There is a land use restriction that will be put in place for 20 years of affordability. So you are guaranteed of 20 years of affordability. But in addition, we're guaranteeing through a land lease to allow these lands to permanently serve for any of those that are purchased to permanently serve people who are in need of affordable housing. So it's basically ensuring that there's always an opportunity to do affordable home ownership.
Okay, explain that a little further.
Sure. So if we do develop the property for home ownership, they will own the property, they will own the housing. They will lease the land at $25 a month, a token fee to make sure that it's basically to allow that land to remain affordable. And really the only thing that land lease does is guarantee that if they ever resell it, they sell it to someone else who is also in that same bracket of need, whatever that income percentage is.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem.
I heard some rumblings of, we're giving people things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I wanted to make sure that people understood this is similar to Habitat, but it has to stay affordable.
It's the same model as Habitat with the exception of the permanent affordability.
Okay.
Vice Mayor.
No, I think you finally hit on what I was going to say is it's always been that if you build something affordable, it has to stay in, long as under the affordability period. It has to stay, family can sell it, but they still have to sell it to someone that's in the same economic situation. But with this puts an extra lead on the land in which it sits on. Okay?
Correct.
Very good. Any other things from council? Call a card.
Tony Schiffelow?
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Ow.
Schiffelow, Tropic Street. I had something else prepared to say, but I'm really kind of concerned right now. So a poor family or a mid to low income family buys this property, and for 99 years, there's a covenant that means that it's got to be sold to other low or mid income. How does a family build any kind of wealth? I bought a house at a low price and the prices went up. Now I'm going to sell it and I'm going to make a big profit. How will these people do that? If I'm a low-income person and I can only sell it to a low or mid-income, I'm not building any kind of generational wealth. So that's my problem with that. And now, you want to, don't use my time.
Because I don't think that was the intent of this particular property, but go ahead.
I'm sure that's not the intent. I'm sure that's not the intent.
The property will go up in value. It just won't increase in value as much as some other properties, but the property will go up in value.
So there's no advantage to a mid or a low to mid-income family buying these properties with the hopes of building any kind of wealth. But that's not what I came up here to say. I came up to say that 2 of the 4 properties are in the poorest district in town, according to the 2020 census. And it's admirable of the city to donate unused and fairly unkempt properties to this nonprofit. They've built in this neighborhood before.
Right.
And from the outside, it's a good infill design. I like it. It looks good. It adds to the neighborhood. I don't know about the people living in it, but that's, it's looks good. And now they want to build single-family homes or duplex units. They did put in for duplex units, although they're talking single-family homes. My concern is the vacant land surrounding these giveaway lots. You know that they're not isolated. It's not a lot, a house, the empty lot, and another house. It's an empty lot, that one you're going to give away, and another empty lot, especially in my neighborhood. So what if Community of Hope manages to snag those properties too, giving them a greater area? Will they increase the number of units instead of building a single family home or a duplex? Are they now going to do like the townhomes you built over there, 6 units along one way, 4 units along another. Will they increase the units? The current MU zoning allows this, according to Brad. So this is the beginning of the tsunami of gentrification that's coming to my neighborhood, West Titusville. And I like the idea of giving property to groups that will infill with consciousness. But I don't like the idea of a family buying the home and not being able to build generational wealth. Thank you.
Good points. Well thought out. Yeah, please. Here.
Oh,
We'll let you respond.
please.
Thank you very much. Really good questions. And the answer is, when you resell it, you will resell it at the appraised value. So it will continuously go up, and you won't ever resell lower than the appraised value. So as it increases in value, the homeowner gets the equity that would build up with that. The difference is the cost of the land is no longer factored into that, number one. Number two, if there are any funds that are put in, public funds or grant funds that are put in, they stay with the house. So that comes off the top even for the next person who buys it. So they build up the equity. They still get the generational wealth build up, but they get the decreased cost to even the next person. So let's say you have the value of the land is $100,000 and you have $50,000 in grant monies in it or whatever. That 150 comes off not just now, but comes off in perpetuity. So that 150, right now might take the house down from $300,000 to $150,000 to the purchaser. But in the future, when it's up to 600, now the next family is buying it at 450 instead of. So you see what I'm saying? They continuously get the buildup of equity, but also have the value of the land and the monies that are put into the house taken off the top.
Good.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Good point there, Tony. Really was. Anything? Any other card?
Yes, Stan Johnston is the last card.
Stan Johnston, I'm not against this, but I want to note that we've had some serious problems in the past with this kind of stuff. The serious problem I'm talking about is that the city of Titusville put up for sale a number of properties that were unsuitable. They didn't do it once. They did it again and again and again. How do I know this? Because I saw it happen, and I told the city about it. I told the city about, hey, there's a huge, when we had the Titusville Improvement Program in the 60s and 70s, we put in huge drainage culverts in there and easements and so forth, and drainage culverts without easements through properties that then we sold to people, and then they couldn't use them. Or we put them up for sale, and they couldn't use them. So I called Water Resources and said, hey, listen, why don't you go ahead and do what you're supposed to do and show it and have an easement on the property? Oh, yeah, we'll do it. They didn't do it. Years later, I said, well, why don't you do it? Oh, we'll do it. Well, the thing is then they complained. This is something, is that it costs so much money to have our surveyor do it. I'm thinking, what in the world are you crazy? So what right now is we have a building right now put up in the city of Titusville, right on top of a drainage pipe. Okay, I don't think these are going to be problems, but I'm just letting you know is that this is a problem. The city of Titusville is sometimes a do-nothing city, do nothing. And they have done it not once or twice, but repeatedly, the same errors. So, thank you.
Thanks, Dan. All right, Jolene.
Move to approve the disposition of surplus properties for affordable housing of 701 Lucky Street, 915 Kendallworth Court, 504 Roderick A. Harris Sr. Avenue, and 706 Roderick A. Harris Sr. Avenue to Community of Hope.
Second.
You're also going to be authorizing the execution of the property donation agreement, the land use restriction agreement, in the form of special warranty deed.
What he said.
Correct.
Yes.
Thank you, Member Nelson, for the motion, and Member Cole with the second. We got a motion and a second. Roll call vote.
Vice Mayor Robinson?
Yes.
Member Stokel?
Yes.
Member Cole?
Yes.
Member Nelson? Yes. Mayor Diesel?
Yes. Passed unanimously. Thank you, guys. Appreciate what you're doing. I mean, you guys could stay busy for 5 lifetimes trying to fix all that. City Manager.
We are on 12B, which is Community Development Personnel Request. This request was originally submitted with the FY25 budget, but was deferred due to budget constraints. The City of Titusville is experiencing delays related to the review of site plans. The city's code states that the review of a Class 2 site plan should be completed in 30 days. The current average to complete a single review is 50 days. In addition to the average number of reviews per site plan is 3, which equates to a significant delay in permitting and potential costs to the applicants. The primary bottleneck is the review of tree mitigation and landscape plans. Staff has exhausted all options, including internal reassignments of duties. Staff is requesting that you approve an FY25 budget by adding 1 full-time equivalent employee to the Community Development Department using general funds and building funds unassigned balance, and approve the associated budget amendment. Brad's here to answer any questions that you may have. And we identified this on our performance metrics. We've seen a trend happening over the last 3 quarters where it's taking us longer on each due to the workload. We attempted to hire an AI company that failed. And so we're coming back saying we definitely need this extra employee to start helping us with review times.
I'm absolutely for anything that will increase or decrease, I should say, our turnaround time on these. I think that's maybe one of the biggest concerns I hear about when I'm in groups or listening. So that is a problem. Now, are we getting this because it's a new position? Because I know you don't come to us when you hire somebody new.
You approved this during the budget process, and you deferred it until mid-year. So what we're asking you to do is move it to now instead of waiting to mid-year to reevaluate that.
Okay. Because generally speaking, it's very rare. And now I recall what you're saying, but it's very rare we have to approve a position, but this is one we put in the budget, so, okay. Brad, anything? Member Cole?
I just want to say I want to commend them for using that matrix system because I saw it and it showed the number of days that it took for you to complete the site planning, and then all of a sudden there was that spike. You know, by keeping those records, it helps you stay on top of it and understand where the bottleneck is and to try to make it better. I commend you on that.
Member Stokel?
Yep. Member Cole just stole what I was going to say, but no, I commend it because I know that you guys do a lot to track your performance, and to me, this is making a data-informed decision. We saw an issue, and you guys came up with a solution, and it just makes sense, and I appreciate that.
Okay. Nothing else from council. I'll call the card.
We have 2 cards. Tony Schifolo?
Tony Chevolo, Casey Angela's not going to like this, but I'm going to speak for the tree team from the heart. From the report, the primary bottleneck is the review of tree mitigation and landscape plans. The staff has exhausted all options, including the internal reassignment of duties, and it's still not happening. So for years, the tree team has been advocating to hire an arborist so that our dwindling tree canopy might be offered some protection in the planning stages. Imagine that, a planner with an arborist mind and heart. May I suggest you strongly consider a candidate with an arborist background and training. It would really help staff with decisions on tree mitigation and landscaping to have a real expert on staff. It's so simple. Wow, that would be so cool, and Kay would be so happy.
Tony,
Yes, sir.
I'm going to miss your presentations, just so
Well,
you know.
I'll come to some football games for you.
Hey, I'll have to turn the TV on and just take a look at you.
Yeah,
Thank you,
because I'm
Tony.
not going to be quiet, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Tony. See, Tony, when I'm watching now, make sure you're getting all this stuff in. You are something. All right, next card.
Stan Johnston.
Stan, you can't top that.
Maybe.
You
Let's
can't-
see what
I wanna
happens.
see you
Let me
dance
what
around.
I tell you is I'm very much for hiring someone. Let's hopefully get someone qualified.
It's slow.
I've seen some horror stories, what Water Resources has done. They have a position open, and they have candidates. And they pick the candidate that seems to have the less experience and everything like that. A horrible choice. They could have got a good person for the same price, and yet they got somebody. And there's reasons for doing that. There can be reasons like, if I hired this guy, he's going to take my job. He's qualified. So we're dumbing down in some ways, and I've seen it. It's been horrible here in the city of Titusville. Horrible. Right now, I'm looking at this project SNJ Oaks, and I've reviewed plans and so forth. This is the worst plan I've ever seen in my life. And the reason it's the worst plan is because I would have, now reviewing that, I would talk to the owner and say, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. I see still, right there on the plans right now, there's over 50 problems, basic fundamental problems on that site plan. Just crazy, absolutely crazy, that these guys still don't recognize. For example, the survey's completely wrong. And it's still approved. So we need help. We need help big time. I cannot believe what the city's doing. I mean, it's as if they have not one experience at all on what they're doing. I'm giving an example. It's S&J Oaks. I can't believe it. I mean, they approve a survey that they know is wrong. It's been disapproved by the state board, and they still approve it. It's a joke. So there's delays not just because of trees, delays because they don't know what they're doing. Some of them just really don't know what they're doing. Now, I'm talking about Brad, because he's done some horrible things. As far as, for example, that I've talked to you about the drainage and so forth, and lack of all kinds of things. So the city of Titusville needs to straighten up. And I support this. Thank you.
Any of the cards? Member Nelson?
Well, I was going to ask Brad a question first, but then
Okay,
I'll make a
certainly.
motion. Don't we have some arborists in the planning department?
We have two people who are certified arborists. What this will do is allow us, not specifically to hire an arborist.
No.
Obviously, if that someone's qualified and they come in, that'd be great. But if not, it allows us the flexibility to be able to relieve those particular arborists that we have on staff to be able to do some different types of work. Right now, we are at, we've exhausted all avenues as far as distributing work. We have people right now who should be doing one thing, but are being pulled into other things because of the amount of work that's necessary to do some of these site reviews.
Okay. So I would move to approve the addition of, approve the fiscal year 25 budget by adding one new full-time employee in the Community Development Department using general fund and building fund unassigned fund balance, and approve the associated budget amendment.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Roll call vote.
Member Stokel?
Yes.
Member Cole? Yes. Member Nelson? Yes. Mayor Diesel?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Robinson?
Yes. Passes unanimously, City Manager.
On to 12C, which is Resolution 21-2024, authorizing an increase in and providing for a 10-year term under the master lease purchase agreement pursuant to Resolution 1023. On October 8th, 2024, the City Council approved the purchase of 2 new fire trucks and associated equipment with a dollar amount not to exceed $2,170,000. The city now desires to increase the original authorized amount for the line of credit of $10 million to $12,500,000, including the issuance of $11,000 for the purpose of purchasing the 2 new fire trucks and associated equipment approved in October 24, and increase the payment terms to 10 years. Staff's recommending that you approve Resolution 21, 2024, authorizing an increase in the master lease line of credit not to exceed $12,500,000, and authorizing a supplemental term sheet to include a 10-year option, which would allow for financing of 2 fire trucks, issuance costs, and approve the associated budget amendments.
All right, council. Nothing there? Nothing there? Oh, okay, call the card?
1 card, Stan Johnston.
Oh, that's where you're gonna say pass, I thought.
Stan Johnston, you're not going to like what you hear from me on this issue. I'm having trouble with the fire department, big time. I call them up, they don't respond. They said, I'll have a meeting with you, they don't respond. Let me give you an example of our fire department. So, same project, SNJ Oaks. It says on one sheet, it says minimum required width for a fire truck, the city of Titusville, is 20 feet. Okay? So what do they do for Mockingbird Lane? In August 2021, they approved for at least 2 houses right there existing, plus other properties, 8 foot, not 20 feet, 8 foot wide. That's what the fire department approved. August. So later on, after August of 21, they said, well, we'll change it to 10 foot. So they changed it to 10 foot for Mockingbird Lane, where they have, you know, this has been actually access as far as what I measured. The area was 26 feet wide, 20 foot wide apron, built there when I owned the property, and I approved it. So the city
Mr. Mayor, point of order.
Go ahead.
I'm not sure what that has to do with approving the purchase of 2 fire trucks.
Okay, can you stop the clock when we're doing that?
Go ahead.
I'm asking a question.
Yeah, I know, but the thing is that.
Okay, Stan.
So
Answer the question, Stan.
All right. I'll answer the question, but I'd like it, it wouldn't be nice to stop the clock so I can answer your question instead of proceeding.
Just answer it, go.
I don't think I should use my time, but I will answer your question, because the people I believe who are handling this, the fire department, has seemed like I'm trying to show you they have not shown a lick of sense. That's what I want to show you.
But I still don't know what that has to do with purchase of fire trucks.
That's exactly because it seems like they spend a lot of money and they're doing a lot of things and they don't seem to like to know and that's what I'm telling you about.
Okay, we got that.
Okay, now what? Did you stop the clock?
Well, you said.
No, you didn't.
You have something new to say.
No, you didn't. I'm supposed to have some freedom of speech here.
You are, you're speaking, keep on.
No, you're going to cut me off.
No, keep
So
going.
the thing is right now is that here's what the fire chief tells me. He says, state code is 12 feet wide.
Yeah.
City code is 20 feet wide. So what are we going to do? We're going to put 10 feet wide where it used to be. I have a cleared area of 26 feet. That's the relocation. That is complete nonsense by John Histoles. Complete nonsense.
Okay.
So I'm telling you this may be complete nonsense also. Do we really need this?
That's exactly the point I knew you were making.
Okay?
Got it.
Does that make any sense to you, Mr. Cole?
We're good. Have a seat. You're good.
Well, it does to me.
Have a seat.
Well, spraying people with sewage doesn't make any sense either.
Stop. Go sit down. Be a good guy. I knew that's where he's going. He's telling you they didn't have a common sense, that's all. Yeah, just another couple of years, you'll have him understand. All right, now, get me back where we're supposed to be. No more cards, right? All right, Member Nelson.
Move to approve resolution number 21, 2024, authorizing an increase in the master lease line of credit not to exceed $12,500,000, and authorizing a supplemental term sheet to include a 10-year option, which will allow for the financing of the 2 fire engine trucks, insurance costs, and approve the associated budget amendment.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Roll call vote.
Member Cole?
Yes.
Member Nelson? Yes. Mayor Diesel?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Robinson?
Yes.
Member Stokel?
Yes.
Approved unanimously, and fire trucks are what, you closing in $1.5 million, $2 million? That's, I just know when I need it, I need it. All right, we're going to our last petitions and requests.
So I know you like to use I've been on council since 2016. A fire truck in 2016 was $480,000. They're $1.2 million now.
We should have bought a lot more then. That's true, that's true. Anyway, that's a good point. It's just, that particular vehicle, that particular area is the one that really stands out. Well, you say just under $500,000, now it's at least $1.5 million.
Yeah, and that's why we did two on this purchase, because
You're right.
the amount of time it takes us to
In
get
2
them.
years, it'll
And
be
who knows where they're going to be in 2 years, yeah.
There's just no cheap way around it. It's very scary, but safety is very important. I don't think there's many left, really. Petitions or requests from the public. I don't think, did you speak at the first one? I don't think you did.
I don't think so.
Yeah, you did. But
Tarshonda Wright, 2180 Freedom.
yeah, we got you. You're here.
You got it.
Titusville
Okay.
resident.
I'm a Titusville resident.
Yes, you
okay?
are.
But I just want to say to the council that I have enjoyed you working with each and every one of you. You've been to my center. You have done everything that you could to improve this community, and I am going to miss working with you in this capacity, but I'm sure I will be seeing you again. Love you all, and I hope that this is not the last time that you put in effort in Titusville.
You know it won't be. Thank you. Thank you so much. That means a lot. Next up. Are you sure you didn't talk in the first one? Tony, oh. That's not what I expected to see. Tony.
Shipolo, Tropic Street. I'm a resident of Florida, and I was aghast and dismayed back in June at the news the governor had line item cut the entire arts budget for the entire state, all $32 million, because of his culture war on drag shows. The ACLU stated it was abundantly clear that Florida's art budget was sacrificed to protect the DeSantis administration's aesthetic sensibilities from the irreverent humor of drag and the theatrical use of verbal innuendo. Arts organizations across the state lost their funding, driven by his personal belief that fringe theater festivals, which stood to receive approximately 0.02% of the Florida arts budget, or around $7,369, are sexual and therefore constitute inappropriate use of taxpayer dollars. So I'm a resident of Brevard County, and I was distressed and appalled that our Representative Randy Fine is the ringleader against drag shows and has many times before attacked the arts. I'm a citizen of Titusville, and I was disappointed and disturbed that not one elected official at any level said or did anything to reverse or mitigate this radical effort to control and censor the content of the arts. I'm a performance artist who in Atlanta worked a lot with drag star RuPaul in our early career days, yet I was astonished and offended by a recent charity performance wherein our police chief, John Lau, and your favorite lobbyist, Robin Fisher, performed in drag. Astonished that you, who support DeSantis and Fine, and are therefore complicit with no money for all the arts because of 2 fringe festivals that might host a drag show amongst hundreds of other performances, yet 2 of you up there on the dais and our mayor-elect participated, Cole, Stokel, and Connor, and approved of our police chief performing in drag. Isn't it kind of unethical for someone sworn to uphold laws against drag queens becoming one himself? Mostly, I'm disgusted by your hypocrisy in supporting anti-gay, anti-trans government actions, and then you participate in the very type of art you publicly oppose. Shame, shame, shame. Thank you.
Anybody else? I think that's everybody. All right, city manager.
On to mayor and council reports.
Let's start on the left, Ms. Stokel, Member Stokel, Dr. Stokel.
Pass, I think.
Okay.
I don't think I have anything.
Let's go.
We had our Space Coast League of Cities meeting last night and appreciated everybody being there.
That was good. You did a good job.
Thank
up
you,
front.
thank
I took
you.
a little picture, but.
Yeah, I know.
The
Thank you.
light-
I appreciate that.
The light was bad, though.
Yep.
I don't know if you can use that or not.
Yeah, no, I'll use it. And it was great to see, we had the representative from Eastern Florida State College talking about the exciting things happening and getting the aviation program
Yes.
up at the Titusville campus, which will be great
Very
for us on the
fascinating
north
speaker.
end. So I think that's all I have. Yeah, stay tuned.
Yeah, it was a good meeting, too, that it was the opportunity for those of us going out and those coming in. I thought that was kind of a nice wave. I really did. Member Nelson, you're going to wait your turn. You're going to talk now?
I'll wait my turn.
Okay.
I was just
I'm
going
going
to
to
say,
jump over to her. Well, go ahead.
I was just going to say, last night was great, and hearing about the aviation program, aerospace program. I hope that we can get all the kids out there. I think it'd be great for them, and that was just great to
That
hear.
was great news. I don't think I was aware that that was that far along. I'd heard rumors even 5 years ago. Member Cole?
Well, I told Frank, the speaker, I said, you know, I knew it was going to be a boring speech and I was going to leave. I couldn't leave.
No.
It was excellent to think of the kinds of things that they're doing throughout the county, and they're doing things that are relevant to the jobs that are available in our county. So kudos to Eastern Florida State.
For those of you who weren't there, Eastern Florida State College was a speaker last night at the League of Cities meeting that we hosted in Titusville. And in 20 seconds or less, so I don't mess it up, kind of give them an idea what he said about the Titusville campus.
Yep, specifically for our area, the aviation and aerospace program is currently housed at the Melbourne Airport. And so we're in the process of transitioning it from there and doing renovations at the Titusville campus here at Eastern Florida, which will be phenomenal. I think helping with the workforce. Yep.
Just a phenomenal
So it's a
thing.
win-win for the college and I think for the city of Titusville, both of us.
Member Nelson?
I just want to say, Laura Lee Thompson and I went out and talked to Kevin Cook and Sandy Reller last week. I was totally impressed. Don't tell them that. But everything we asked about, they already had answers. They already had plans in the works. One of the things we asked about was obviously the septic tanks and getting them converted over to the sewer systems. So when I was doing some reading this weekend, I think you guys recognize this. Recognize it?
Yeah.
So talking about the nitrogen that goes into the groundwater and then into the lagoon, septic systems create 3 times the amount of nitrogen as our sewer system. So I think it's very important to get rid of those septic tanks. They are have plans to run sewer lines to areas where there's a big concentration of septic tanks. And one of the things we talked about was coming up with some type of incentive to get people to go ahead and as those lines become available to the people, that they go ahead and go over to the sewer system as opposed to waiting, because otherwise they're just polluting the river longer. So I think my question is, do you guys want me to bring it up with the new council? Should we go ahead and do advisability now? and maybe ask if there's a way we can get people moving. I understand it's $18,000 that Sorrel will give them in a grant.
Now those grants are based on your location too.
Right.
So
Up to 18,000.
your $18,000 is the ones that are, I'll just use
To the
US one
river.
East, yes.
Yeah. So, the suggestion was maybe it would be good to come up with some kind of incentive to get people to go ahead and switch over.
I think it's got to be done. I think it needs to be emphasized. Remember, probably 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, Titusville High Theater hosted the Save Our Lagoon seminar. And that was the first time, and I actually was the MC of some of that somehow. And that was the first time I'd even heard or became aware of the importance of getting those septic tanks off the lagoon.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that, and they were talking about the high percentage and this and that. So I totally agree. Septic tanks are a big deal. So I would, as far as this council versus the next council, I think simply because of the longevity of the people who will be there next time, I don't think it's going to mean nearly as much with my name on there and Joe's name on there and we faded away. I think we would do well to get the unity of the next council. I just, I don't mind doing it at all, but I just, in a matter of 2 weeks, I'm out.
My thought was if we asked for advisability, it'd probably be a couple months
Okay.
before that came back.
I'm
So,
fine with that. Yeah.
so I would make a motion to ask for advisability to see if we can do something, some kind of incentives to get people to go ahead
I
and
agree.
switch over to sewer.
Advisability to remove septic tanks and move to sewer.
Right.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say yes. Yes.
Yes.
Opposed? No. We didn't, you don't have a card on that. We didn't do anything with that.
Yeah, he did fill out a card if we took a vote on something.
Okay, cancel the vote.
Okay.
No. Call card? Call card.
Yeah.
Advisability.
Yeah, advisability, okay. But the thing is that I have a card, and I think that you should not, in other words, for any new item, I have a card. And I don't, pardon?
I don't hold the cards. I don't have any cards in my hand.
You didn't ask for a card, you went in and voted without my card. You didn't ask.
I found out there's a
You
card.
didn't ask, you should have
Are you
asked.
standing there now?
Pardon?
Talk.
Well, you're talking.
Go.
How are you talking to the insane? I mean, Mr. Cole, he talks a lot.
Talk about
Right,
this.
right
Talk.
when I'm talking to.
You have a card.
And
Talk
he's
about the
so smart that he
Talk about the topic.
he sprays
Sit
people
down.
with sewage. Okay, the thing is that I don't agree with that at all.
Okay, good. Talk
I don't
about
agree with all, because I think septic tanks are not the big problems. We have bigger problems. We don't measure poisons in the river. We don't measure all these poisons that are coming from our helicopters and so forth like that, that killing the bees and so forth like that. I think we need to look into other options, and we're not doing it at all. As far as I've lived on a septic tank probably most of the years of my life.
You're not on the river.
Pardon?
You're not on the river.
Yeah.
I was on the river in West Virginia.
Well, you're not on the river here now.
Okay, but the thing is not only is the river dead, but a lot of the bugs are dead. I mean, we don't have a lot of the insects because they're gone. We're having, as far as a lot of insects are concerned, it's a dead area, not just in the river, it's a dead area on land and in the air. We still have some birds and so forth like that, and we still have some lizards, but we're losing a lot. Not just from the river, but we have dead areas on the ground. And nobody seems to recognize it. I mean, this is not affecting the bees so much, the river isn't. But the bees are in big trouble. And so are the monarch butterflies, and so are a number of things, is that we have a horrible situation that the city and our government refuses to look into what's happening with our pesticides and herbicides and other poisons. And so I'm against what you're doing because I believe that's not the boogeyman. The boogeyman is somewhere else that you refuse to look into. Thank you.
Thank you. No more votes. Okay.
My motion stands.
Yeah, see, we didn't even vote yet, so see, you got up there. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Okay. You done?
And the other thing I would say is, I think we do support the arts. We are for the arts. That was the whole reason for creating an art district in town.
Member Stokel, you're back up.
Yes, sorry, I knew I was forgetting something. I just did want to mention a couple legislative items as we move into the legislative cycle. Sovereign immunities probably going to get brought up again. They're exploring the option of public safety. It's hard to retain public safety police officers, and they're exploring potentially getting a $5,000 incentive at the state level. Short-term rentals is another item that consistently gets talked about. And then I thought this was interesting. This got brought up as something that might be explored is protecting single-family zoning. So I thought that was interesting. And I know we've had some issues here with that. Yep. And so that getting brought up at the state level to see what may come of that. Also talking about impact fees and seeing about Live Local potentially getting addressed again. Lastly, if you have not seen, Tyler Sorori, one of our state reps in our area, was named Majority House Leader, which is huge for our county. So be thinking about potential legislative items that you either may want to see adjusted, something that gets brought up that maybe shouldn't be passed, or something that we should try to get passed because he will have significant influence in the House. So now is the time to really be thinking about that, and we'll stay on top of what is potentially getting brought up that would impact us at the local level.
Oh, Vice Mayor. We ain't saying goodbye yet. we ain't saying goodbye yet.
I had a good steak last night.
Good for you.
Sure, we'll need you too.
Wonderful.
He ain't say nothing important.
Another wonderful steak last night, wonderful fellowship last night, and it is great to be here. I've enjoyed all of this, and Stan, it is
fired up.
It is I'm going to sleep better as I go forward. Okay. But I'm going to keep you and Titusville in my prayers. Thank you.
All right, yeah. I don't want to do goodbye more than once, so I'm not going to say anything. So I do, yeah, we have our 15-minute, they going to put me on the 3-minute clock. Stan, you can watch the 3-minute clock when I have to say my goodbye. But anyway, with that, happy Veterans Day to everyone. Thank you for your service. We certainly have some folks sitting right here among us. Raise your hand. That wasn't me. Raise your hand. There you go. I got Army, Coast Guard, Air Force. What you got over there? Marine. I should have known. Thank you very much for your service. It's been an honor.
Sarah said, "Hoorah, better than you."
He's getting old. We had a couple really good Veteran Day ceremonies yesterday, one at Day Street and then one at the Veterans Park. And just always enjoy that time. And I really do believe those will be some of the things I go to even, without the mayor shirt on.
Yeah, and along with that, every time I hope no one watches me, Scott was sitting there, every time I hear taps, I still can't help them, no matter where I am.
It's a big deal.
A tear come out of my eyes when you hear taps. If you worn the uniform for any significant time, when you hear taps, it's going to bring tears to you out because you know what it means.
Mr. Mayor, may I have one more turn?
No.
Oh. Please?
Yes.
So yesterday, I'm taking it anyway. Yesterday, I participated in Orlando with an organization called the Folds of Honor. This organization raises money for disabled and deceased military families and helps them with their educational opportunities. It's always good when you can have fun and make money at the same time. So I played in a golf tournament, and they raised over $600,000. And the golf tournament was at Lake Nona in Orlando, and they had a number of celebrities that were participating there, and I was the only Vietnam veteran that was there. They had quite a few veterans, and I told our city manager they had a Army helmet, and they asked all the veterans to sign this Army helmet, and they auctioned it off, an Army helmet for $6,000. People were paying exorbitant money because they knew it was going for a good cause. And, you know, $600,000 for a golf tournament is phenomenal. So it was, this is my third year participating with them. So it's a great organization.
Herman talking about, I see the Vietnam ribbon on back of a few cars now. Most people don't even know what that is.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of people alive that still have one.
Anyway. All right, with that, I do want to thank everybody for being here today, and it's starting to get real that there's no more agendas for me. City Manager.
Yes, sir. No action items. Within the information items, we have the fourth quarter strategic accomplishments list, the economic development. We have 3 public focus group meetings coming up. The first one is on November 14th between 9 and 11 o'clock here in the chambers. The second one is November 21st between 10 and 1 o'clock, and it'll be here as well. And the third one is December 5th between 5 and 7 p.m. at the Titusville Senior Center. Next, we have the last regular meeting of the City Council is scheduled for November 26th, which is 2 weeks from now at 10:30 at City Hall. The swearing in of the new council is the same day, November 26th at 11 o'clock. And then the presentations meeting and the regular City Council meeting as scheduled, 5 and 6:30. The community block development grant that you picked the date for at your last meeting is now scheduled for December 3rd at 5:30 p.m. And additionally, my consolidated performance evaluation is in my report. Subject to your questions.
City Attorney.
One more. 2 gateway signs have been installed. One was installed this weekend. Garden and Singleton one, as you look at the, there's a, we're right there's a corner. The second one that was installed today was at Cheney and around the Beef O'Brady's area. So those are the signs that you, as a council, worked diligently to
I might do. We're good? I'm gonna steal this before it's over. I always say dismissed, don't I? Adjourned.